The man just committed an actual crime on live television, and then they gave him an award, and a bunch of people gave him a standing ovation. You can't tell me this is the right timeline. Come on now. When it happened, like I wasn't even watching the Oscars. I was just like, I was chilling with a friend, and like I just saw that Twitter was blowing up about it, and I was like, there's no way that this happened. And so I looked more into it. Like, it's like, oh, this is a really crazy thing that happened. I cannot wait for the memes that are gonna come out about this. This is great. But it wasn't memes really. At first, it wasn't memes at first. It was a bunch of people having like really serious discussions and really hot takes on it. And the predominant take on Twitter, at least among the people I follow, and not even on Twitter, and this is what kind of got to me. I mean, I hate Twitter. I've said this many times. If I didn't think that Twitter helped my career, I'd probably just delete my account. Usually when there's like this weird shit going on Twitter, I just boil it down to, okay, it's Twitter being Twitter again. It's social media nonsense once again. But in this one, it was not just Twitter. It was like Facebook and people I know, like friends of mine. And it seemed like the predominant take was that it was okay for Will Smith to do that. And there's various reasons why. Some people just boil it down to like talk shit, get hit. Some people, apparently that's the code they live by. But other people were more in depth with it and say like, oh, this was a black woman being insulted for a condition that she had, and black men should be defending black women and things of that nature. My perspective, and again, apparently this is not the majority of the opinion, at least not among fucking online progressive social media. My position is that Will Smith was completely 100% in the wrong, and that was just a completely embarrassing, shameless display of toxic masculinity. But apparently a lot of people didn't like that take. I lost a lot of followers after that. I mean, listen, and this is probably maybe my most controversial opinion among maybe my audiences, but definitely among like the current online left. I really think that people need to calm down about jokes. Yes, jokes can be mean. Jokes can be insensitive and offensive and not so woke. And especially in this particular case, no honest person can look at this situation and say that Chris Rock harbored some like deep hatred for Jada Pinkett or for black women or for anybody. Like, no honest person can say that. But just in general, I feel like people need to calm down about jokes. Like, there is this like fucking crusade against comedians that's been going on recently. And listen, you can criticize comedians 100%. There are lots of shitty, tasteless comedians that make dumb jokes, that make fun of marginalized people. That's cool. Criticize them, make a 2-hour video essay about it. That's great. But people literally want these people to go away. Like, they want them to lose their jobs, you know? They want them to be punished for telling jokes. And that's not good. But yeah, I mean, we got to calm down about that. Like, if you take a joke seriously, you are interacting with that joke in the wrong way. It's like using a hammer to comb your hair. That's not what you're supposed to do with that thing. This is another take. A lot of people say it's the Oscars, not a roast, but it's like, I don't even watch the Oscars that much, but I know that they always roast the celebrities at the Oscars. I don't know what people are talking about. That always happens, especially when you know that, you know, certain people are hired to do things. Certain people are hired to host. Certain people are hired to present. They would not hire these people. They wouldn't hire comedians to be there at all. Chris Rock ain't fucking winning an Oscar or being nominated for an Oscar. He's there to tell jokes, and they know who Chris Rock is and what he does. Like, if you don't like a comedian, that's fine. But this sort of equation of telling jokes to violence is ridiculous. And yes, jokes can be indicative of sort of normalized bigotry in our society, for sure. But that doesn't mean you get to tell people that they're not allowed to tell those jokes. That's not how free expression works. I'm not denying that the joke is rude. I was disputing that it was some kind of malicious attack against black women. But yeah, the joke, that's the point of a roast. The roast is you're making fun of someone. Yes, I understand that. All that being said, you can't assault people just because they said something. You just can't do that. First of all, that's not legal. You can't just hit people when they haven't physically threatened you or harmed you. But second of all, it's just not a good thing to do. It's not a way to behave. It's a childish way to behave. And it's also dangerous and reckless. I know lots of people. I think Chris Rock was, trying to save face. But I know lots of people, if you march up to them looking mad, they're gonna swing on you first. That's why it's a bad idea. That's why you don't do it. You don't march up to people and slap them in the face because first of all, you don't know what they're gonna do to you. You don't know what they're gonna do to people you love. It's just all around a bad idea. And I think I started actually getting stressed out, and a lot of that was just because it was Twitter, and Twitter always stresses me out if I read it too much. It started stressing me out because I guess I had this assumption that we all agreed on that already. Like we all agreed that it wasn't like you can't just hit people whenever they say something you don't like. I thought that was just kind of a thing we knew that, like mature adults, that's how they act. But apparently that's somehow I'm out of the loop. I missed the memo where it's cool in certain situations to assault people just because they said something to you. A lot of people in this chat and even on Twitter were like, why is everybody so serious about this? It's a weird event, but it's not that big a deal. Why do we care so much? But it actually legitimately started stressing me out because I felt like the world just got a little scarier because I just thought that we knew that wasn't how you behave. Personally, like a lot of people are like, I can see both sides. To me, Will Smith was 100% in the wrong. Like I don't think it's a both sides situation. You don't get to just attack people. I mean, I got similarly stressed out when Trump won. Obviously, I think the Trump thing is a little more substantial, a little more, it affects things more, but it in the sense that I thought we all agreed that a person shouldn't act like that or be rewarded for acting like that. So I think that is an apt analogy. I don't want to discount other people's opinions, but this is just one of those times where it's like, I just do not feel you at all on this.
I think most people I've seen agree that Will was the one more in the wrong, but the sentiment on Twitter is weirdly on his side.
Well, I see, and this is a thing, that's why I was getting a little stressed out. Rainbow, I just saw your comment, because for me it wasn't even just Twitter, it was like my friends and shit too. I mean, a lot of y'all are saying that most people agree that Will Smith was in the wrong, but that has not been my experience at all. But that could just be this bubble that I'm in. Maybe I need to take a break from this bubble and go on vacation or something.
So we're just gonna continue ignoring black women? Okay.
A lot of people try to frame this around race and black women. Now I've got people on Twitter that are accusing me of, being against black women, not supporting black women, not wanting to protect black women, or even in a more general sense, being supportive of bullying, not supporting bullying, things like that. And I hate that shit as well. Toxic masculinity, embarrassing yourself in public, doing dumb shit like that, assaulting people, that's okay as long as you're publicly defending black women. No one can accuse me of not supporting black women. Anyone who knows anything about my content or anything that I say, all the videos I've done, I don't think that's the thing you can accuse me of. There's a bunch of people that did stuff, and there's one person that I think was way more in the wrong than everyone else. So that's the person I'm talking about. I mean, is the argument that we comedians are not allowed to make jokes about black women? To me, that's absurd. This is what I've been mentioning all stream, is there's a lot of people who want to say that comedians can't say certain things, and it's hard for me to imagine that I will ever agree with that.
What do you mean by can't say though? Like shouldn't, or illegal?
First of all, I think many people would applaud if they made certain types of joke illegal. I think people would be very happy with that. I don't know if people are literally looking to change the law, but they are looking for there to be consequences for telling certain types of jokes, which includes apparently being slapped, being smacked, being physically attacked. I think each comedian has the responsibility to determine what they are and aren't going to say, and they can deal with the consequences, but it is not appropriate for those consequences to include someone attacking them. You can boycott them, criticize them, you can start a fucking online community that's formed just around hating that person. You can write a 2-hour video essay talking about how shitty they are, but you can't attack them physically and you can't arrest them just for telling a joke. That's just, a society cannot work like that. Like when I was younger, I used to feel really like out of step, out of touch with the rest of humanity. And I feel like a lot of people feel like that. But as I got older, I realized that was it's kind of a dangerous way to feel. And it's good to try to figure out more what you have in common with people than what you don't have in common with people. Because I do think, we're kind of all in this together and we're trying to figure out life just like everyone else. But I really felt out of step with like the rest of the world with this. And it made me like really stressed out and sad. I mean, I also have the opinion that the joke wasn't that bad, but I don't even need to have that opinion to still think that Will Smith was in the wrong. I can grant you that maybe the joke was terrible and offensive and harmful. I don't even really think that, but I will grant you that. And even so, I still think you don't get to hit people. I think there are many reasons to be kind to people and to not tell shitty jokes about people. And one of those reasons is that someone might get mad and hit you, but that doesn't mean that they were justified in doing it. But it's a possibility, and because of that possibility, there's one of many good reasons to not be like that. So don't get me wrong on that point either. It's not even really about Will Smith. For me, it was about how so many people defended this type of action, and it kind of stressed me out because I don't like the idea that so many people think it's okay to assault people just for saying something. So it's not even really about Will Smith particularly anymore. Like I said, I was fully prepared just to embrace the memes. There's absolutely more to this story than what we saw on the screen. Absolutely. I fully believe that. Obviously, we don't know any of these people personally, but we have seen all of these people and how they interact in the public space. And this just seemed completely bizarre.
Do you think Chris should have clapped back with a joke or held himself back?
I was thinking about that as well. See, this is another reason why it was just a bad idea for Will Smith to do that. I mean, I don't know what you all think about Chris Rock, but in my opinion, one of the best comedians of all time. The man is very clever, and I think if he wanted to, he could have decimated Will Smith verbally. Chris Rock could have roasted the shit out of you and had like 10,000 people laughing at you. And that would have been a very, very bad look for you. I don't think there's 10,000 people there, but you know what I mean. I mean, yeah, I think he would have been in his right to tell those jokes. I think he would have been in his right to defend himself as well. You don't get to just hit people. That's not how it works. Again, like I said, if someone is marching up to you, you know that they're mad. You might fear for your physical well-being and swing first, or pull out a weapon and defend yourself, or at least just square up ready to brawl. When someone attacks you, you then have the right to defend yourself. I fully believe that. No one has the right to just harm you and you just let them do it. Now, that would have been a shit show, and I'm glad it didn't happen. Is violence ever excusable in general? Sure. If someone attacks you first, for example, like if Chris Rock would have defended himself against Will Smith, I would have been fine with that. If someone kidnaps you, if you gotta knock them out or stab them or shoot them to free yourself, yeah, sure. So yeah, I can think of many situations where violence is acceptable. In response to someone saying a thing I almost know situations where I would be okay with that.
I think there's just sort of an emotional reaction to. I think the guy who said that was being cruel and he got slapped, that a lot of people enjoy, which I can't say I'm above.
Jack, I understand that as well. But I guess what I thought is that it was more of a meme, a feeling. Talk shit, get hit. I guess that was just kind of more of a meme than a thing that people would actually do or justify when it came down to it. But I was wrong about that, and that's why I got so stressed out. If Will Smith would have went up there and shot Chris Rock in the head, would people still be defending it? Do you think? At this point, I honestly don't know. I would like to say no, but I honestly don't know. Yeah, I lost a couple hundred Twitter followers over the past few days. And to be fair, I didn't have to tweet. To quote the great Natalie Wynn, a word of advice that everyone should follow: do not tweet. But I will say some of y'all are making me feel a little bit better, because I really thought that I was just kind of going crazy, because I just could not really imagine why and how so many people could defend Will Smith on this. But again, what they're going to say, what's going to happen is the people on Twitter are going to tell me that it's just a bunch of white people telling you that. And of course, white people aren't allowed to speak on such matters. So I guess it's not really it's not really that helpful, but I appreciate it anyway. We can talk about something else if y'all want.